The best pull my dad's ever had, and believe it or not, I was here when he did it. It was right after I took over in 2017. This product come out that was called Babe Ruth Immortal Collection. Leaf made it, and it's all Babe Ruth. In each box, you get like a Babe Ruth game used bat card, a Yankee Stadium seat from the old Yankee Stadium, and then a couple of base cards. But you got a shot at 3 1-of-1s. One's a bat barrel, one's a bat nub, and the other would be a cut signature from Babe Ruth. I remember we were closed. It was like 6:15. We'd already turned all the lights off, and that product came out that day. So we were like, let's just crack one box. So we reach in there, we open one box, we pull out the bottom. The last card is a redemption. So we're thinking, okay, if it's a redemption, it's not gonna be the bat, it's not gonna be the seat, those are in every box. It's gotta be one of those big 3, but we're not getting our hopes up because you never know, they could throw something crazy in there. He reaches down to the bottom of the box, pulls it out, and he puts the redemption in his pocket. All right, we look through the rest of the box, okay, it's pretty cool, it's cool, and both of our hearts are just pounding because we know it's got a potential to just be a huge card. So I reach up behind him, he's like coming over here, he won't take it out of his pocket. And I'm like, man, we gotta go, let's go. So I reach in his pocket and I pull it out of his pocket and I walk in the back and I look at it and I come back out front and I was like, well, I'm out of here, man. I guess I'm gonna go buy me a new house. He goes, what? He goes, it's not the cut. And I was like, it's the cut auto, the Babe Ruth cut signature we got out of there. Ended up selling it to a really good customer for about right at $7,000 cash and trade. We see monster cards pulled in here daily though. We try to keep our Instagram updated. We've been so busy lately, but we try to get the big pulls on the Instagram and kind of show people what's been hitting here and keep everybody in the loop. Believe it or not, it started when I was in about 4th grade. Came home from school one day with a 1983 Fleer Wade Boggs rookie card. And my dad was like, where'd you get that? That thing's worth like 25 bucks. Well, I ended up trading a carton of milk for it to a kid at one of my, in the lunchroom. And so my dad said, you got a carton of milk for that? Here's $5. Here, buy 2 cartons of milk and see what you can get. So it kind of started off from there, really, and we just started collecting cards together, and then we would slowly started setting up at shows and just local shows, just, having fun. We'd go to shops and everything. And when I was in 6th grade, I remember I was at football practice, and my dad pulls up, and he comes in and he's like, hey, come waving at me. I run over there and say, hey, we got the shop. So he got a little space in the back of a Gun Barrel convenience store, and he had one little showcase and one wall. I mean, I'm talking maybe 10, 15 foot wide, one showcase. The late 90s, early 2000s, we moved to this location. Around the mid 90s, we started seeing a lot of these shops just start fading away because we started to realize how many of these cards they were actually making back then, which was just an absurd amount. And then the market's so saturated with that 80s and 90s. And fast forward a little bit, we had in 2007, the NBA had a contest to see what shop could send the most empty basketball wrappers, and whoever did would win a makeover. We ended up winning it by a landslide. The closest shop to us was a shop in Houston, and we beat them by like 20,000 wrappers. So in 2007, Topps came in and remodeled the whole shop, redid everything. We had a party in here. Daryl Dawkins was in here, Spud Webb. They brought a couple other celebrities and some basketball players. We've been here 34 years. Anybody in the industry, everybody knows my dad because he's been doing it so long. Pops was kind of getting a little burnt out just doing it so long, and I took over March of 2017. We have had just great years in here, lots of new customers, tons of people getting back into the hobby. It's just a really good time to be in the sports card hobby. It's just on fire right now. We've been putting cards in a storage unit for going on 34 years. I mean, just rough estimate, 2 million cards in there. Brandon, the other kid that does most of my eBay listings, me and him went to storage about a year ago, and we maybe dug it took us an hour to move stuff out to get to what we needed to get to. And once we started digging, we found a couple boxes, took home with us, and he found 2 Mike Trout 2011 updates in there. Back then, it was 2 years ago, they were $300. Now they're like $700, $800 ungraded. But just in a common box, in a 3,200 count box in there, because in 2011, Mike Trout wasn't Mike Trout yet. So he would have just been a common rookie. But yeah, so there's no telling what's in that storage. We're really looking forward to getting it up here and going through it. Well, when the pandemic first hit, it died off in here. We had to put up our signs. We weren't allowed to have customers in. We were doing curbside service. We were here every day because we had incoming stuff, and then we still had eBay never slowed down. we were getting creative. We were trying to find ways to move boxes because we were getting a little worried. We didn't know how long it was going to last. I mean, are we going to be shut down for months? We didn't really know. So I was listing boxes on eBay, just trying to find different ways to move cases. I was fronting some of my regular breakers that come in all the time, some local breakers. And then all of a sudden it was like a switch, and it just exploded overnight. Breakers were coming in left and right. I need a case of this. You got what 19 football you got? I literally went from about 250 cases of 2019 football in 2 weeks down to about 5. Number one, it was just people at home bored. And then those stimulus checks started coming in. And that's when the breaking side of cards blew up. And you know what breaking is, where you'll go online, you buy a spot or a team or whatever, and then everybody that gets on that spot or that team, you get those cards, vice versa for everyone in the break. Well, since so many people were at home and couldn't leave their house, the breaking world exploded. So when that happens, let's say you have a $500 box of cards, it sells for $500. Well, a breaker can break that at 10 spots at 60 a spot, that's $600. So now that box is now selling for $100 more than it was because it's breaking at $600 consistently. So now then the boxes go up. Now they're $550. Well, now they're breaking at $650, $700. The boxes go up. So it just inflation. Number two would be the singles that are getting pulled out of those packs, what they're selling for. The big rookie class has everything to do with certain years. I mean, you can have monster years just with a Luka and a Trae Young like last year, and of course Zion and Morant this year. Football looks like it's going to be a really good draft this year. Lately, it's been the last 2 or 3 years, from Mahomes in football in 17 to last year with Luka to Ja Morant and Zion and these guys in this crazy draft. And then now moving, even last year's football was decent as well. A lot of good quarterbacks in there got potential in that draft. So we've just been fortunate to have really good drafts lately. I think stuff will start to come back down a little, but it's not going to be as low as it was before this started, ever. It's never going to be that low again. It shot up so fast, it has to come down a little. We're already seeing it a little bit in a dip, but it's not going to dip as low as it was before it all shot up. Does that make sense? Kind of like a Jordan rookie. You can buy a Jordan rookie for $2,000 today. 2 years it might be worth $1,800, but if you keep waiting in another 2 years, it's going to be worth $3 to $4 grand. It just continually goes up over time. That's just what Jordan rookies do, or Brady rookies, or any of the big name guys. eBay is a great tool for pricing. It's kind of become our new price guide. Beckett's still around, but they can't keep up. Coming out once a month, you just can't keep up anymore. But eBay is a great tool as long as you're using it right. You got to make sure you're looking at the sold items and not looking at what someone's asking for a card, because people can ask crazy amounts for a card. That doesn't make it worth that. It's worth whatever someone's paying for that card. That's what we can tell on eBay, is what people have paid for that exact card in the last 90 days. Average it out, and that's what your card's worth. And it's the same as boxes, kind of. There's certain website wholesale sites that kind of set the market for box prices. And whenever let's say they put them up there at $300 a box and it sells out real fast, well, the next round they're going to put it $400 a box. Sells out real fast, well, now it's $450 a box. And it just keeps on rising until the sales slow down, or until the cost of demand, supply and demand kind of deal. The more and more of it that gets open, so the more and more it can go up, because there's less of it out there. But the hobby's just got so hot, like I don't have enough product. The product that I would want to do breaks of, I just don't have enough of it. In the beginning, stick with one sport, because if you start branching out, it can get really confusing, because there's a lot of new product. I mean, you're talking 2 or 3 new products every week. And start small. Don't go spend all your money on one thing. Try a couple of different things out. Get a pack of this, get a pack of this. Talk to us. Tell us who your favorite players are. Maybe we have some listed that we can tell you at a discount, or maybe we have some in here that we have a few of. But if you're just starting, it's a lot to keep up with if you're jumping into football, basketball, baseball, and hockey all at the same time. I mean, it's a lot to keep up with.
Atlanta foul on at this first. Atlanta Hawks select Luka Doncic.